Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Well, let's just get started. What is going on? You are listening and, of course, watching Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Stevie V. This is episode 702, alongside Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. We're doing wonderful. It's a beautiful evening. I'm at my friend's house.
I love that. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
well, we've
A
got a
change of
lot.
venue.
Wonderful. We've got a lot to get into. We are in front of a live virtual audience. I see some of you, Doug, Duran, Diego, James, as you guys trickle in. We want to hear from you. We are calling this episode Performing Sexy versus Being Real. We want to get right into it. It's basically that's the topic that we were talking about, right, Kodi? The
Oh, yeah.
balance between sexual performance, and I'm talking about online and offline, and actual authentic expression. So here's what we came up with, and it was all based on this really good article that had to do with Kevin McDonald. Kevin McDonald is an influencer who does a lot of like gym posts. He does a lot of things on love and where he's at. He's LA based trainer and influencer. And he was recently interviewed by out.com for their prep series, Prep Truvada. Think that for their season 4. I really got a lot out of this interview, which really prompted today's discussion because what he was talking about dating and why real confidence goes beyond the gym. He talked a lot about cringe, about how we all put on a lot of fronts. And first off, did you get to listen to some of his interview? Because I thought it was really good, which prompted tonight's episode.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's so well thought out in how he comes across, and the things that he touches on in this interview are just universal. So I really enjoyed myself.
So we're calling it performing sexy versus being real. And what I really wanted to talk about is the balance between sexual performance, online and offline, and authentic expression. Are we actually being ourselves in our dating lives, those that we meet, what we put out there? Or are we just acting out a role we think others really want? And I can say over the years, I've been acting out a role, Kodi,
Oh,
that
really?
yeah, I mean, I think many of us, I've always been a performer for years and years, and the minute social media came out, I was photographed for years and years
Mhm.
for homoerotica. I was an actor. I did a lot of commercial acting, and a lot of what I did was performative, and I transferred a lot of that to my friendships and my dating roles on putting
Yeah.
on this persona. And what I thought, a lot of it had to do with circumventing shame that a lot of us have and putting on a front. And I can say at the forefront of this talk that over the years in my 50s, I've been able to be so real, which is why I think I met my partner, my fiance, in my late mid 50s here,
Yeah.
because I finally stripped down and realized I can actually be myself. And this is kind of what we're talking about on this episode. Are we actually being ourselves in our dating lives, even in our sex lives? Are we just acting out a role? Um, do you have a story where you've maybe put yourself out there that wasn't necessarily you, that's kind of interesting just to get us going?
Well, I can say this one's about sex though. I feel like for in my previous long-term relationship, not the one that I just got out of, but the one before that when I was like 27 and young and stupid and didn't know anything.
Not stupid. We won't use that
Stupid.
word.
27-year-old Kodi was stupid, honey.
Oh, we all were. I'll give you, I was too.
Yeah, definitely. But so I think during that relationship, I was putting on a front. I was not necessarily as authentic with who I was. I was trying to make him happy. I kind of honestly, I cut off my friends that I had at that time because I was meeting his friends and I thought it was all about him, and I got very engrossed in him and I started to adopt what I thought he wanted, including being the bottom in the relationship, even though that was something that, I never really had an inkling to do. I enjoy it sometimes, but not as often as I bottom for him. So I think that in my younger years, yes, I tried to be I think it came you touched on something that really like sparked something in me, and you said that you're a performer the whole time, and I feel like I totally associate with that because me growing up, I had to be like the perfect child at all times, and I think growing up in that and kind of having to perform, quote unquote, and be perfect the entire time. You can't be perfect to everybody. You try and give everybody what they want or what they expect out of you. So I think I got into that rhythm, and I think I'm just kind of finally breaking it up a lot to where I can be my true authentic self.
I have to agree with you. I've been doing that for years and years as a performer and actor. One of my first early, and we're going to talk about this in the next segment here, when we talk about our app profiles and our
Ooh,
body pics and
girl,
our
are we putting them
bios.
on the screen?
Well, we could, but all of my earlier app profiles had to do, and I'm talking about Manhunt back in the day, and those
Girl, that was
early
a time.
ones had to do, I think my profile, Kodi, was called Sexy Poppy or VGL Sexy Hung Latino. And what I was
Oh,
doing at the time was tapping into the Latino, you know, especially back in the day,
oh
Latinos were
yeah.
thought to be super sexy and hot. And I went from not being confident at all
Mm.
and being comfortable with my sexuality to being thrust in my early 20s in San Francisco to really embracing this. I went from an about face 180 degrees to all of a sudden I was being photographed by photographers that for homoerotica that I immediately went into online names that made me the sexy Latino, the hot hung Latino, that were tropes, right? That
Yeah.
may be somewhat true, but I was buying into a name that I don't know that I could fill the shoes necessarily. I mean, maybe the hung part, but I mean,
I was like, I
but
think there's a part of that that definitely fits you.
yeah, but along with that would come things like, oh, if you're hung, then you're immediately the top. And
Dumb.
what I'm really realizing over the years is I went from zero to having zero confidence to buying into these tropes of what I should be to taking on that persona that really wasn't me in my early 20s, that wasn't really authentically me, which is really what we're talking about, to finally doing the work throughout the years that ultimately now is me that finally found a partner. Do you see where I'm going with
Oh
this?
yeah.
Where
And
how we create these tropes for ourselves that serve us.
And if I might add something, I definitely think that that's how they get you. I feel
Yeah.
like when people are insecure, like I've been for sure, I feel like the only way we can find security or confidence is if we buy into these tropes that everybody is saying is what we should be. So that is the way that they get you by not necessarily you relying on your inner self and who you are inside and relying on all these outside things, superficial things in order to define who you are and give you self-confidence.
That ultimately perhaps you can't really live up to. So for
Mhm.
myself, in many ways, I put this persona out there for so many years. I feel like to one of the things about this article that Kevin McDonald that we're talking about is he uses that word cringe, that you almost have to have that cringe worthy, that realness to yourself to actually connect with people, which is what we seemingly talk about on this show about being real, and versus that persona that we put out there. And I think that's where I was always so concerned about what I was putting out there from, this is way before social media, Kodi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was always so concerned and scared and what people would think of me. And heaven forbid you assumed what role I was going to be in the bedroom. And now I'm so open with all that. And I'm so much more like, if you come up to me, I'm so down to earth, I feel, and natural and
I see it.
owning my own. I was not like that. I may have looked gorgeous at 22, but I was a timid, insecure child that really had that 180 arc. And I give grace to myself now because we talk about this on this show, that really didn't own. I could never be the things that I was putting up online on Manhunt because it just wasn't realistic. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, for sure. I think that, what you said, it was so poignant. I feel like when you are putting all these airs on, and I know we're gonna probably get into this more a little bit later,
We are.
it's
Yeah.
so hard to connect to people because you're so worried about what's going on with you on the outside that you're not being your real self, and it's hard for people to gravitate towards you if you're not being authentic. I think that the more that I personally am goofy, I'm a goofy guy. I like to tell jokes. I like
And
to have
and isn't
fun. I
that
like to
so
smile.
fun, Kodi?
Yeah,
Because
even
you
though I
and
don't
I
smile in pictures.
you goof around so much. I think I really noticed it on this show so
Yeah.
much that you're silly, you have this infectious laugh. You and I giggle when we're out and about,
Oh, for
and
sure.
the power of laughter when and just being real. We were just out recently on a sexy brute outdoor
Boat
boat
cruise.
cruise,
I think.
and the best moments I had was laughing with you and our co-host Lincoln,
Yeah.
and really just looking at a lot of the other people that were of a certain age and really getting over ourselves. Like, it wasn't that serious, like Jeremy likes to say, or other co-hosts, and really
Mhm.
just breaking it down that we all are of a certain age. This is a lot of fun. Yes, it's a whole thing. We are in harnesses, but we can still just like get over ourselves a little bit.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And just, like, let your hair down, let the real you shine out, and, be who you like, people gravitate so much more to people who are letting their inner light shine out. And I know that's kind of like corny to say. I am a corny guy too, so there you go. There you have that as well. But I do think that, like, it's true. It really, people like to talk to people who are authentic and being real about real issues. So I found that the more that I let go of who I feel I had to be, and the more that I accept the goofy, the funny, the corny parts of me, that people, like, they might look at me like you are silly or you are, but it endears me to them. So I really enjoy that aspect of it, and I have to, I couldn't recommend it more.
Because ultimately, you're going to meet that person, hopefully, get in a relationship with that person, and they're going to be
Oh,
real. I mean, Diego and I are so real in every aspect, but we are live, and I want to shout out to Bryce, who says, in the LGBTQ plus community, superficiality may attract followers and acquaintances, but genuine authenticity fosters real and enduring relationships. And
true.
it couldn't be more what we're talking about tonight. Doug, also watching us live, says, I think for a lot of us, we pretended to be someone else when we were younger. That's basically what I was saying, Doug. Thank you for
Mhm.
that. As I have gotten older, I'm at a point that I don't care what people think of me, and I'm just my true self. Take it or leave it.
That's
Love
right.
that, Doug. That is exactly what we are talking about tonight. We're going to
And to Doug's
continue this.
point,
Yeah.
I wanna say that the ones that are gonna take it at that point when you're being authentic, they're the ones that are gonna stay. I feel like the ones that take you putting on that mask, that once they find out that that's not really you underneath, and they're gonna leave. But once, wow, that just kinda hit me a little bit. When you try and
Yeah.
people please a lot, then that is when you finally stand up for yourself, then those people are going to be gone and out the door because you're actually showing who you are and not letting them walk all over you, basically. Wow.
Light bulb moment. I want
Just
to
had
talk
a
a
light
little
bulb
bit.
moment.
I want to turn this into performance in person. Basically, how we perform with things like masculinity, with what we think people want to see in us, confidence, sexual dominance or submissiveness. Like, what do we really show when we're out and about? Do you ever feel like you're playing a role on a date or in bed? And I can honestly say that in the past, I have felt that for years and years, I've said this on this show, that I felt that everybody put me in the bottom role. I was somewhat twinkish, and that Latino, that was, I sexualized myself, I feel,
Mhm.
but people did as well. And I just took that role. I didn't really feel like I had a say in what I really wanted. Now I
Mhm.
do. Now I'm versatile and now I really own it. But if I had to tell my younger self, that question, I
Yeah.
would say, take a step back. Don't go with what anybody just tells you role to play. Take a beat, figure out what you want, and don't go home with everybody that just says that you're hot. What would you tell your younger self based on roles that people may or may not have put you in?
I mean, I would probably give the same advice as you, but I'm not following that advice right now. I go home with anybody who tells me I'm
I mean,
I mean, it is what it is. We are where we are, right? No, but I feel you. I definitely understand where you're coming from. I think that for me, I don't necessarily put on a masculine front. Except for when I'm on, like, a first date and I really kinda wanna impress somebody, I don't think it's necessarily a front. I am comfortable with both sides of my feminine and masculine nature, but I push that one forward, I feel like, and, uh, over time, I feel like I let them see my more feminine side, but I feel like it might be something that I need to work on. But I right now for me, it's where I'm comfortable and it's where I feel safe. And so I think that it's something that it works for me as a defense mechanism. Maybe I will break it up. Uh, something I need to talk to my therapist about, I guess.
I mean, what we're really talking about in this portion of the segment is performance. How
Hmm.
much do you perform when you're just out and about? How much do you perform when you see somebody that you are attracted to? How much do you perform when you're trying to seal the deal? How much of that masculine energy do you put in it? How much do you play to what you think to lure that person in? And I think there's nothing wrong with having a performatory side to yourself. I think it's
Hmm.
healthy. I think there's exercises that people work on in coaching all the time that have you perform. There are tools that help you perform. And we all know that we are multifaceted. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. When I go out, Diego can attest to that. I am a different person. I can just be cuddly and just tending to my man when I'm here. But when I go out, I put on like a, a, a whole. Oh, I hear something over in the other room. Tim to ignore again. But
What did he say? I want to know.
I don't know. But I
I
put
want
on a
put it in the
look
chat, Diego.
and put it in the chat, Diego. I put on and it is stop laughing. It's just armor that I put out there, and I'm
Yeah.
a social butterfly, and it's just and it's okay as long
Yeah.
as he knows it when we're out together that I'm a little bit more performatory, but I'm still myself because we
Yeah.
check in with each other. What can you say to that on what you put out there? I mean, because let's be honest, in this day and age, Kodi, unless you're really putting yourself out there to get noticed, you have to really like set yourself apart in some way, shape, or form. No?
Yeah. I see that. And I think that you hit the nail on the head when you said it was armor because out there in the streets, you have to it's almost like you're protecting yourself basically. There there's so much violence going on and I don't really want to bring this up, but there's so much violence going on out there against LGBTQ plus people. I think that a lot of people have to put that on. And I feel like as long as it's part of who you are, you're not misrepresenting yourself. So if you have that masculine nature within you and you've explored that, then I think it's perfectly fine for you to put that on as your armor. I think you use what's authentically you that will protect you as your armor out there in the world. And as far as performing in a club setting, I think you serve Divalicious Diva too. Okay. I think that you are completely fabulous. I think a lot of people put that on in order to attract people because that's what it does. When you are fabulous and when you are over hyper masculine, I think it does attract people. And at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do in order to get a date out. There's a lot of competition out there. So
And if you have a hyper feminine side
yeah,
there, and you want to put that out there too, that can definitely draw other people to you as well. It's neither less a call to being masculine or feminine as much as a performative side of yourself that can be done through fashion, that can be done through various ways, but that really escalates at your persona out there, punctuates, as a lot of people like to say,
I was
that, yeah, that you almost have to, like, when you're going out there. I mean, yeah,
it's like a
yeah.
heightened sense of self, basically, because it's like you're putting your best self out there, and I think that that is perfectly fine because as long as you are able and willing to show someone the other sides of you and the other facets of you further down the line when they finally do get to know you, because in the first meeting, I feel like what are you going to do? You're going to just tell them your whole life story? No, you're not going to. You have to find trust with somebody else and make sure that they are willing and able and really deserving of knowing the entire you.
Yeah, I mean, often in a setting like that, I can be sassy, I can be like smart, I can do all these things that I'm not necessarily, Kodi, when you hang out with me on the couch here. I'm not all of those things that could be
Yeah,
maybe obnoxious to some people, but I do amplify it out, and I think that's healthy. But is it still you? Well,
yeah.
we are so live, and Doug says, I think for a lot of us, we pretended to be
Oh,
someone
I,
else when we were
I think you read
younger.
that one already.
As I read that one, yes. Okay. Was there a newer one? No.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Thank you for clocking me on that one. But yeah, I mean, it's basically what we're still saying on that. And I still go back to that it's good to amplify us. Well, okay. Here are the benefits of being authentic, exploring moments when dropping the performance, deepened connection. So, what's a time when you're being 100% yourself, Kodi?
Mhm.
Um, what are some of the benefits you've noticed of just being authentic?
I think that being authentic is what breeds connection, honestly. So I think that when you let your guard down and you cry or you do all the things to show that you're vulnerable, I think that that is what being authentic is, and it really I said it before, it endears people to you, and it forges a connection because you're actually showing your true self and your heart. So I think that is something that gravitates me towards somebody else when they show who they are inside. I keep using these double entendres, girl, and I think we're having a serious conversation, and I'm trying not to be like nasty, but you heard what I said, so
Yeah,
how
I
about you?
mean, I can definitely, when I'm dropped the performance side of myself, but really tried to connect with people. And I can't help but think during the pandemic, which was a real time, I've said this before on this show, where I really remember in that period, it was about connection. For me, I took the pandemic as a connection opportunity. I live in this building that has quite a few people in it, but the one spot that we could go to was the rooftop. And I was up on that rooftop every single day during the warmer months. And I never before really connected with any of my neighbors. So I would be one of those people that would open the door, walk out, not say hi to anybody. It was the pandemic that I really started to say, "Hi, how are you? What's your
Mhm.
name?" And I started to realize that I had the power to connect with my neighbors And I have carried that since, Kodi, since the pandemic,
You
that
have?
now I have so many close people in this building that it's so lovely that
You talk to
because
dogs?
now I take that same mentality when I go out. When I don't know somebody, the old me was a little bit shyer. Now I'm like, "Hi, how are you?" I really genuinely want to connect with you and know who you are. If it's just a simple meeting, and it might not go beyond that, but it is really helping me connect with other people and really helped me connect with finding a partner, fiance that I'm about to marry. And I love
Oh,
that about that.
yeah.
And yeah, what yeah,
I kind of
what
want
were
to
you
say, I feel like you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, and I think that for me, that came when, because I think that I don't think I was ever naturally dominant as in the bedroom, but the more I explored that because people would expect that from me, right? Because I like to be
right.
more of a top. So the more I explored that, the more I actually saw that I enjoyed it. I feel like because I got pushed outside of my comfort zone of being a lazy top, um, I feel like I really started to gravitate and really just feel my oats when I was being a dominant top, and I think that that really wasn't a part of myself that I knew existed. So, uh, I'm gonna say explore, use it as a way to explore your sexuality, your life even, because you got out of the bubble that you were in and started talking to people in your building, and, you never know what can come from it. But if it's not for you, it's not for you, but if it is, then you can discover a whole new world from it,
A
like Aladdin.
whole new yeah. What's I would love to end this conversation before we move on to hot topics to what's one tip we could both give for either dating or for sex that is your realness tip? What is something that you could give that the next time you go on that date, the next time you're with somebody that you lured into your bedroom that you can really be honest with. And do you want me to go first or you want me to go first?
Whomever I can go. Kiss of the Spider Woman. And when I lure them into my bedroom. No,
Come on.
it's coming out soon. I saw something and I was like, "Ooh, this is
I
gonna
can't
be
wait.
good."
Jennifer
Yeah.
Lopez. Yes. Oscar.
Um, but yeah, I always have in the back of my mind that if they can't handle the goofy and sometimes, a little bit femme, because I like to say girl. I say girl all the time, but my boyfriends cannot call me girl. Please, no, that is not something I'm down with. But if they can't handle that, then they are not for me. So I feel like win or lose, as long as you're being yourself, you're always the winner.
And and you have somebody offline too. Look at it. I would say really start connecting with yourself to find what you're into, what you want romantically, and what you want sexually first. So to ground yourself in that, always having a base of that is really strong and that can change throughout time. But don't be afraid to add humor to the mix, to add that
Mhm.
into whomever you meet, whether it's sexual or whether it's a romantic partner, because why do we watch the Golden Girls? Why do we watch Seinfeld? Humor is
Yeah,
going to get us through so much. So don't be afraid to be cringy, awkward. I People will give you grace, and it's
yeah,
very I love one of the things I love about my fiance is that he makes me laugh and he's silly and goofy, and I can be the same way to him,
yeah.
and that is what helped get us to where we're at. So
I
yes.
met a guy after you guys left on Sunday. I met a guy and he was like, you know what? I like that we can joke around. And we were in the bar and
See,
we were just cracking each other up. It was a really good time. So yeah, be goofy, be funny.
again, we're live, and before we wrap it up, I love it, Bryce. You get the last word. Bryce says, I believe authenticity is one of the greatest acts of self love, and self love is needed more than ever. Uh,
Aw.
that's perfect. The perfect way to end it before we move on to hot topics. If you want to comment and continue this conversation on what we've been talking about authenticity and everything go to our Patreon page. The community continues all week long. Go to patreon.com/tags podcast. And yes, is there a poll question?
Oh, there is. Yes. Let's see who's gonna take our poll. Ba-dum-tsh.
Yes,
So,
Cody's in charge of our poll questions.
yeah, I'm in
Yes.
charge of the poll always. So the poll question is, do you feel the need to perform when dating? I need to edit this really quick. I left a couple words out.
Got it.
Do you feel the need to perform when dating? And the first option is yes, it's the name of the game, or no, it's all about authenticity.
I love it. Okay, well, it's time to weigh in on that. The poll continues over on our Tags Patreon community, and we need to get into hot topics, LGBTQ plus topics, and I couldn't help but Jonathan Groff, nominated for a Tony this past year. One of my favorite shows he starred in, Looking, is just was on a recent podcast on his first proper leather harness. His quote, "It awakened things in me." He was up on the Shut Up Evan podcast and was talking about he got a pair of chaps to wear to the Beyonce Cowboy Carter tour. He wanted them real. He went to the Leatherman here in New York City, Kodi, on
Love
Christopher
them.
Street, shouted out to the person that helped him out, which was even more amazing. But when asked, and he's currently in Bobby Darin just in time. He's playing Bobby
Oh,
Darin. I think I'm going to take my mom when she comes for my wedding to see that because I think she
nice.
knew Bobby Darin of Bobby Darin. So I think we're going to go to that. But when
Wow.
he put on the harness because he was wondering. He says, I went in there looking for assless chaps for the Beyonce concert. And it was like, we just became fast friends with the person that helped him out. He says, I have a harness that I got in Berlin when I was there and learning about the club culture. And then I was like, I want to do the real thing, where he indicated the position of the central strap attaches all the way down, and he was
Ooh.
like, the guy was like, I got you. So he immediately, he said, I wore it to the theater that day for Pride, and I threw a Pride party in my dressing room. He said, it just felt sexy. It felt right. And I couldn't help but think, as I head to San Francisco this weekend for the iconic Folsom Street Fair, I can't wait, that the first time I put on leather and what it did for me, it changed my life. I mean, I used to wear it as a dancer and it was pure costume. When I moved here to New York City, the leather, the smell of it, the actual specific harness that I put on that laid on my chest, it made me feel powerful. It conjured up past fears that I had that just basically said, I own this.
Mhm.
And I ultimately entered the New York Eagle contest, Kodi, and was runner up. It had a powerful impact that still has on me today. What can you say about what Jonathan Groff is saying and the first time you put on leather?
First of all, I wanna see Jonathan Groff in that harness
I
because, whew,
mean,
I met him one time and I was like, "Ooh, hey, how you doing, Zaddy?" No.
love him.
No, he's a sweetheart too, so, but yeah, I think leather is it can unlock something in you, like he said. It's something that, you don't know could exist within you until you feel the leather on top of your skin. It's just so sexy, and, it makes you feel like you can conquer the world. I have a couple harnesses. One that goes across my chest, but the thing that really did it for me is I just got this leather vest that's kind of cut out in the chest, and it has two buckles up
Oh,
top here, near the shoulder for people listening. And I got it from Mr. S Leather, and it is sexy. I put it on, and I knew I knew I was the one right then and there. So yeah, the whole leather fetish type aesthetic that we have going on, it really can work for you and give you such a boost of confidence.
Yeah, and it really is harkening back to what Jonathan Groff is saying to Tom of Finland. Like, why did our community all of a sudden be attracted to men in uniform and all of that? And I just think it has to do with repression over the years. And when you actually don a piece of leather, what it really does to you. And everybody, it's from the smell to the fit to the confidence that you get out of it. I highly recommend it. It worked so well with me. And I love that Jonathan Groff is sharing that now. And that's just one of my favorite things that I read recently. And we had
Yeah.
to talk about it. Absolutely. Okay. Well, we have to move on to Ben and Jerry's. We all love the ice cream, but the founder, Jerry Greenfield, one of the two sides, Jerry, is resigning, saying he's been silenced over talking about LGBTQ rights. Jerry Greenfield, one half of Ben and Jerry's parent company, wouldn't let him defend the rights of immigrants, women, and our community. The co-founder, Jerry Greenfield, announced that he is resigning, accusing the ice cream brand's parent company of preventing him from speaking out for civil rights. And Kodi, he's 74, and over the years, they sold the company, as many do when you have a huge company like that. They started it in 1978, if you can believe it.
Wow.
And the whole goal back in 1978 was to create an ice cream that stood up for rights. And they were all about things that were going on in the community, not just our community, but just for US civil rights.
Human
And
rights.
yeah, and over the years, they sold it, but they were promised that they could still talk about things that mattered to them.
Hmm.
Well, Ben and Jerry's filed a lawsuit to Unilever in November, accusing the company of violating its merger agreement by silencing its social media posts about Black Lives Matter and
Wow.
Palestine, firing then CEO David Stever for his posts, and blocking company donations to groups such as Jewish Voice for Peace and the Council on American Islamic Relations. And Jerry just had enough, and he is basically saying that no, this is I on this one am never going to buy another carton of Ben and Jerry's. I think I'm going not going to. If nothing else, I really respect Jerry of Ben and Jerry's for stepping aside. I think it can get crazy sometimes when it's sad because if we would have to give up everything. You were telling me earlier on, oh, you got something from Amazon earlier, and it's like, yeah, I still use Amazon. So
I said I did too.
I'm not really a fan of just like, I'm not going to do this. Yes, the power of the dollar. But what I will say, what I can say today is kudos to Jerry of Ben and Jerry's for stepping down because he's being silenced. And part of it had to do with talking about our community in a positive light.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think that he's doing such an admirable thing. He's clearly a person that stands up for what he believes in, and we need more people like that, especially in this administration with what's going on. And because, girl,
Damn.
the silencing is silencing, honey. Because well, through what just happened with Jimmy Kimmel, what happened with
Oh,
Stephen Colbert, they are really coming for a lot of the more vocal voices out there that are standing up and calling out this administration. So we need to be as steadfast and continue to make sure our voices are heard. And I think that that is why Jerry stepped down, so he can continue to speak against all these things that he's so passionate about. And I applaud him.
absolutely. Still staying in hot topics. And, when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the memorial service just occurred over the past weekend on Sunday. And there is a story that has been going around that Grindr servers in Arizona, where this all occurred for Charlie Kirk, actually went down. Charlie Kirk's 5-hour memorial service at State Farm Stadium in a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona, featured everything from pyrotechnics to speeches by everybody from the president and tens of thousands of mourners wearing red, white, and blue. Well, the proceedings apparently created heavy traffic on the grid, and I'm talking about Grindr. Apparently was shut down. Downtector pledges to ensure that incidents are correctly represented, but somebody else on TikTok went on to say it wasn't just Grindr, it was Sniffies. And it was all directed at the stadium, Kodi, right? Where
Oh yeah.
all of the where was the stadium
I forget the
happening
name of it,
at in
but it was.
Arizona? All pointed
I wasn't
to,
going there.
yeah, that, I mean, this has happened in the past where at the RNC, the Grindr
It's the
has
State Farm
actually shut
Stadium.
down, and Grindr has come on to say that no, they didn't have nothing went down, but actually the proof is in the pudding, right? We've seen it. What do you have to say with this, and why do you think that it, like, people weren't able, like, all arrows pointed to where Charlie Kirk's memorial was happening?
Yeah, and I think that that is very telling. I think that these people are, I'm just gonna say it, they really hate that they're gay, and they understand that, it's against a lot of what they espouse, so they do it in secret, and they have to do it on Grindr, and that is what is tearing a lot of this apart, is that being repressed and making sure. Don Lemon, actually, it's funny because the article that you sent me, one of the highlighted, uh, articles that were like, "Oh, this is related to that." It said that Don Lemon said he locks himself in his his room when he goes to these Republican places that are full of Republicans because they're so repressed and they always continue to hit on him. So, uh,
Oh,
I
wow.
know, right? I read that and I was like, "Oh, I have to say this on the show." I think that this is just really wild, and I think that it could only do more harm. So I don't understand why Grindr didn't want to release that information, but maybe it's that CEO that's a Republican.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. Okay, well, we've got to move on because Khalid, somebody that we have, came out last year. Khalid fans are defending the star against homophobic backlash to queer out of body music video. So, fans of his new video, Talk, Khalid has leapt to basically, he has this brand new album coming out and a new song called Out of Body, correct?
Oh
And
yeah.
in the video, it shows Khalid being joined in the bathroom by four other men, one shirtless, others in various tight fitting and mesh garments. A woman also appears in the clip dancing against the wall, but it's clear there's something going on with him and another man. Out of Body is the second single from the 27-year-old East Side Singer's fourth studio album, After the Sun Goes Down, which is due for release on October 10th. I cannot wait to get it. The first single, In Plain Sight, was released in August, and he was lathered by praise for the most part for Out of Body, but there was a whole layer of people that I would call it Black Twitter that was
Mm.
basically saying, "Uh-oh, here we go, the new Sam Smith, Troy Sivan, and Little Nas X moaning his sexuality, coming out as gay for pay in the music industry doesn't mean you have to hold on to all the stereotypes," said somebody. Gay N word in the industry always got to show us in the light of being sexual deviants, said somebody else. A third claimed that Khalid's new music signified another good artist down, while a fourth said he was turning into the Black Sam Smith. On and on and on. And I say a lot of people were really defending him, Kodi, and saying that, what, black gay people cannot be sexual? What the fuck? Which is where I stand. I
Yeah.
am so happy for Khalid. I am ready for this album. I think shut the fuck up, everybody else. Let him be him. He doesn't seem to give two fucks about it. And if I could say fuck anymore, I would. But what do you say to Khalid and what he's doing, putting it out there?
Fuck, that's fucking awesome. Let's just say fuck the entire time.
The rest of the show.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. I think that he is finally being open. When I saw the video, I was like, "Oh, he looks like he is living in his skin." I feel
Yeah.
like we were talking about before, he was kind of a repressed earlier, and it showed in
Authentic,
his
what we were
videos.
talking about, authenticity. He
Exactly.
wasn't being his authentic self. And I would really love, as you continue to tell us how you feel about it, as we have tapped into this about your upcoming EP, but
Mhm.
we talked about somebody in the music industry, a veteran in the music industry that gave you some feedback about what you put on. And we already went through this, but
Yeah.
maybe give a new take on how you're going to put your new EP out based on what Khalid's putting out there.
Well, my dream is to be, like, almost naked in a music video. So, like, if Cardi B can do it, and Janet Jackson can do it, and Nicki
Madonna
Minaj can
can
do
do
it,
it.
Madonna can do it, Britney Spears can do it. Britney Spears did it, and people applauded her, all right? So, Sabrina Carpenter's doing it now, Tate McRae, all those girls are all butt naked, and everybody, as long as it's for the male gaze, nobody cares. But
You
when
just
a
said it.
man does
Thank
it,
you. Say that one more time because that's really
when it's
important.
when it's for the male gaze, it's completely fine, but when it's for gay men or,
People of
female,
color that
oh
are
oh my god,
gay,
don't even get me
that
started
are
with that,
male.
because I feel like in the Black community, it's very, it's looked down upon to be gay and to actually be proud that you're gay. So I think that that's something that needs to be addressed in my community, and I I'm gonna be one of the ones that make people talk, because I'm gonna have no clothes on in my music videos. I just am. I love my body. So what can I have no clothes on, walking down the street. So why would I put some on in a music video?
I love it.
Yeah. I can't
Fabulous.
wait. And kudos to Khalid, because from what I hear, the song is going to be fantastic. And the video, chef's kiss, mama.
Doug watching us live says the haters just wish they were one of the other guys in the bathroom. Come on now. Bryce says Xtina did it.
Xtina did it too. But
Canada.
I feel like she got a little pushback on that, because, but
Let's not
that's
get
neither
into our
here nor
music
there.
talk
I
because we
know,
can really
right? We can go down
we'll
right
start
down the
going
rabbit
down
hole.
Shannon and all of them and yeah.
She got a little pushback too. Madonna got some pushback, but they were all innovators. And I feel like, yeah, we are where we are now because they did what they did. So thank you, ladies.
Absolutely. Okay, well, it's time to give advice. We love giving advice on the show. You can always reach out to us. We'll give our handles at the end of the show, or you can always go to tagspodcast.com. But this one came from Reddit, and it had to do with it's the first one, right? That my new boyfriend has a bizarre obsession with a
Oh,
very
yes.
random part of my body. Should I say something? Here's what they wrote. We'll discuss and give some advice. I've been casually seeing this guy for a few weeks, and he has one, let's call it quirk. No matter what we're doing, stretched out, watching a movie, cuddle up, being in bed, even sitting side by side on a towel at the beach, his fingers inevitably wander there way down to my feet. Then, without fail, he starts sliding them between my two of my toes, slowly back and forth, over and over. He doesn't stop until something interrupts him, and even then, he always finds his way back down there. At first, I brushed it off, thinking it was just playful flirtation, like when someone pokes on your side or tickles your ribs. But now it becomes a full on habit. It's constant. I realize that's why, while I don't exactly hate it, I don't love it. It feels weird, a little gross, cringe, should we say, Kodi? I'm adding that. And sometimes distracting when I'm trying to focus on, literally anything else. The thing is, I don't want to embarrass him or make him feel judged because the rest, you get it. What advice
Yeah.
should we give? Come on. This guy has a foot fetish. He likes your
Yes.
feet. Let him go for it. I'm just going to put it out there. I've always had a foot fetish and I put it down talk about not being authentically self for years and years and years. And I, in my later years, started acting on it. And guess what? It worked. I started telling guys, I like your feet, and they didn't mind. And it worked.
Yeah.
I ended up meeting my fiance, soon to be husband. I love his feet. And I told him, I like your feet. And I just went there and he likes it. So it can all work out, but you need to maybe have a little bit of conversation about it. It's not that serious. Feet fetishes aren't that serious. If it really does bother you though, then maybe temper it a little bit. Make him tell you that it's his fetish so that then you can temper it a little bit so that it's not like all the time, which I don't do with, like, I have a foot fetish, but it's not like I'm acting on it 24/7 with my
Hmm.
fiance. It's at certain times, and I know when he's not into it too. So you just got to figure that out, but you have to have a conversation about it first. Make him tell you what his fetish is.
Well, I don't agree with that. Everything else you said, I agree with. But I feel like if you like, just say it, just put it out in the open, get it out in the open, talk about it, have a conversation about your comfortability. But I do think that the more you start to explore it, maybe the more comfortable you will be with it. You might even start to like it. So just be upfront and honest with your discomfort with his foot fetish, and then you'll be able to navigate things from there, because clearly this man has a foot fetish. And you know what I say, as long as I'm comfortable, I'm gonna let a man do anything they want to
I mean, but
me.
also think of it on the end of his end, the one that's writing in. He's probably has this fetish, which we've decided on this show that he has, but he really likes your feet. So you're like a
Yeah.
star to him. Work toward, I mean, that's, people are always looking for, oh, what does he like about me? And what can I accentuate or curate to put out there? Put that out there. He already likes your feet. That is a number one category. Put that on the forefront. Let him, because that's only going to keep him in the mix. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, also, and you know what? Put some of your kinks out there. If you
Yeah.
wanna see him dressed up like a French maid, tell him that. Tell him you want to do some role play, and then balance the scales just a little bit, because it feels like, for me, it also feels a little bit like he feels like he's giving up a piece of himself, and I don't know, maybe I'm just projecting, but I feel like as long as you are keeping yourself authentic, like we were talking about before, and making sure and being vulnerable, then I feel like then this can go the right way. It's a little
Yes.
foot play between lovers,
Exactly. I may have screwed up.
right,
If you
girl?
could put the straight up our thing
Got
in
it.
the, yeah, because I
Got it.
screwed up on that one. But before we go, before we get to our which was the other one we were going to, advice at
The really
36?
quick one. No,
Oh
no.
yes.
Oh yes.
No, guys in
No,
long.
long-term sleepovers. Yes.
Yes, okay. More advice before we get to our final bit, thirst trap, which is back. I'm putting those watching us live. Kodi is putting it in our chat so you can start to vote now. But somebody wrote in that said, guys in long term open relationships, do you do sleepovers? Here's what they said. We'll discuss. Husband and I are open, but we have never denied a rule about sleepovers. It has happened a couple of times naturally. We have told each other and it was fine. But now a guy I'm going to meet while on a trip without my husband is asking me to stay at his place, of course, in his bed. I've met the guy before and I know he's not a psycho. However, I'm not sure if I'm somehow breaking a boundary with my husband. I know the typical answer will be just talk to your husband. Yes. And of course, I will. I just want to know the experience of the other open couples regarding sleepovers. And what I would say to this is don't do it. Don't don't have fun in the open relationship. Yes, of course, I'm going to say it. Talk to your partner, husband, but in general, a good rule of thumb is keep the sex, keep it at a minimum, keep it at certain events or functions, but don't get too attached because it's only going to create more chaos. What do you say to that?
I could not agree. I want to say, oh hell no, because that is just too far. I feel like if you are sharing this intimate moment with somebody that you are having to hook up with, in an open relationship with your husband, no, I would like you couldn't
Without
even
your
give me the.
husband.
I know, right? A sleepover without your husband? Oh no, no, honey.
Yeah,
Just oh
no.
hell no. If you
Yeah.
could convince
Oh,
me to
hell
do an open
no.
relationship, this would be an oh no, oh hell no. So just don't do it. It leads to
Let me
too
put
many
the caveat,
emotions.
if you are starting to experience things like polyamory with,
That's a different story.
which we've talked about on this show, which is a real thing, but you would already have had that conversation with your partner and brought this up. So we are not prudes on this show. We know about polyamory. So please don't write into us about that. But
About that.
if it's just an open relationship and you're gonna meet up with somebody else, do not spend the night. Absolutely a hard no. Have a
It's a
hard
oh hell.
time,
Oh
but
fuck no.
yeah.
Remember we're saying fuck.
Yes. And lastly, we couldn't end without our favorite thirst trap. It's where our favorite partner, straight up gay porn, poses the question, thirst trap recap, which out of this week, 16 gay adult stars. Who took the best photo? It's our job on an auditory podcast for you when this drops to vividly describe who took it and why. And I think there were some really good ones.
Really good
Who,
ones.
in your mind, took the best one, Kodi, and why? Vividly describe.
Well, you know I always vote for my crushes, right? So my crush this week is Jackamoff. He's super adorable. He is, and it's also a really good picture too. He is clearly on a naked beach. He's completely naked. All he has on is one of those bucket fisherman hats and
Why?
sunglasses. He's sitting in a beach chair on the beach, butt naked, fully erect cock, and he's looking out into the sunset. He looks amazing. He's super cute. Call me
Jack
Jack.
enough, yes?
Yeah, jack him off. Yeah,
That is like a sexy ass. Like
he's so cute.
he also looks very authentic. What we're talking about at the beginning of the show and real, and I like
There it
that.
is. It's a theme.
Um, I will have to say that Greg Kelly with is
So
sitting
hot.
back
That was my
on a
number two.
couch with a
Jeez.
very beautiful brown skin, huge, thick cock, juice, like lubed up cock ready to go that you would just sit on. So he would actually get my pick. I also really like, I'm just giving people, Nicholas
Options.
Ryder is showing off his huge balls and his nice cock and his ass, ready to get fucked, and a nice beard, I think, ready to go. And then my other favorite is Seth Kane, who is by the pool and looking lean and mean and like, what? What are you looking at? And also got a beautiful cock, and I love his feet. And I don't know who I'm picking this week, but
You
who
don't?
are you guys picking in these last couple minutes? Who do we got? Who did you pick, Diego? Oh, is there a Kodi over there to be had? Doug says Jace Smith Sterling. Bryce says Greg Kelly for me.
Greg
Is
Kelly
he
is
in
the
this
one
one?
too.
Is there a Corey Bradshaw?
Corey Bradshaw.
Are you in the right mix?
I don't know
I
if
think
he
you're in the
is.
wrong one. I think you're in the wrong. Is there?
I'm
Oh my
looking right
god!
now.
Follow. Oh my gosh! You can always follow my co-host Kodi Maurice Doggette at Mr. Maurice on Blue Sky and on. I think you're in the wrong one. Follow me on Instagram. I am _Steve V. And in the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
sex.
sex.
Lovely. We'll clear up this. You're in the.
I know,
Oh,
right? I'm curious
are
what he's
you in the
looking
right
at.
one?
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
There he is.
It's the hairier one. Oh, he's hot.
He's
Yep.
he's not crazy. Who is your favorite again? Okay, Diego's not crazy, and yes, he's
I mean, he
there.
is, but he got it
Love you
right.
guys.
Love you guys.
He's showing me it right now. Love you.